All right, let's get started, guys. Welcome, everybody. I know we have a very diverse group in terms of specialties and geographic area, so it's wonderful to see a lot of familiar faces and some new faces here. And this is officially our third expo for the Travel and Hospitality program at Plug and Play. So essentially, we have accelerated about 60 travel tech startups over the past year and a half. And to say the least, it's been a learning experience for us. When we started in January of 2016, we thought we're going to be able to change the world and come up with the next Airbnb and Uber and introduce that innovation to our corporate partners and make about 20 investments a year. That has not happened. We thought by the end of the first year, we're going to have about 20 corporate partners for our travel and hospitality program. And after a year and a half, we were able to sign up about 16 corporate partners, which we're very proud of. So in short, we're not moving as fast as we had hoped, but at the same time, it has helped us understand a little bit better how the travel and hospitality industry operates. So our focus initially was on disruptive technologies, and we're still focused on it. But what we realized, in order to build the trust and relationship with the hotel brands, the airlines, the OTAs, the GDSs of the world, you have to start on incremental innovation and prove that it could have a positive impact for that organization. And once you have that trust and the impact has been made, then I think the willingness to focus on disruptive technology becomes a little bit more serious and becomes a priority for organizations. So we're still focused on disruption, but in the meantime, we're looking at incremental innovation that could help our corporate partners either increase revenues, lower costs, build brand loyalty, and bring operational efficiency. And hopefully for the corporate partners who are sitting in the room today, we've been able to do at least one of those things for you during the past year and a half. So for those of you who are new to Plug and Play, quickly I'll run through what it is that we do, both for Plug and Play and our corporate partners and the startup ecosystem. So essentially, we run 2 accelerator programs a year, and based on our corporate partners' technology interests, we source about 500 to 1,000 startups every 6 months on a global scale. In fact, the startups that are going to be presenting to you guys today, we have startups from South Africa, we have startups from UK, we have startups from Israel. I would say it's actually one of the most diverse group of startups that we've had at Plug and Play across all of our accelerator programs. So the 500 to 1,000 startups are sourced based on our corporate partners' technology interests, and then we do our own due diligence on those startups. So we look at the competitive landscape, we look at the team, we look at the technology, we look at the business model, and we narrow that list to a list of 100 startups that we share with our corporate partners. And then the corporate partners get to choose about 30 to 40 of those startups to come into Plug and Play. And during something we call a selection day, the startups get on stage and basically do what they're doing today, do their elevator pitch. And then our corporate partners get to choose about 20 of those startups to go through a 3-month accelerator program. And then during that time, the corporations get to either do licensing deals with the startups, they get to do pilots. Some of the more aggressive ones get to do investments, if that's what they choose in the startups. They can do POCs. And the ultimate objective of going through this exercise is for the corporations to build 5 meaningful relationships with the innovators within their respective industry. And again, we're hoping that those innovations could help the corporations increase revenues, lower costs, build brand loyalty, change their customer experience, enhance their customer experience, and bring operational efficiency to their organization. So the accelerator program is really focused on high-level technologies that are applicable across different industry players. So think of technologies like AI, machine learning, big data analytics, natural language processing. And these technologies, we feel like, are applicable to a hotel chain like Accor as much as they may be applicable to an airline like Turkish Airlines. And then for doing a deeper dive into our corporate partners' needs, we actually have a quarterly meeting with them. And that's when we actually introduce startups that are a better fit for the IT roadmap that each individual corporation has. So on a quarterly basis, in a 2 to 3 hour session, we introduce each corporation to about 6 to 8 different startups that meet the specific requirement of that corporation. So that's going a level deeper. It's no longer the high-level technologies that are applicable across the entire industry. So what has been the result in the past year and a half? I think the fact that we haven't grown as much as we had hoped, it's actually helped us be really nimble, and it's really helped us spend more time with our corporate partners as well as the startups that go through our accelerator program. So one of our corporate partners sitting in the room here today has done over 10 pilots in the past year, which is unbelievable when we even compare it to other industries that we're active in. Another corporate partner here has invested in 2 of our portfolio companies over the past year. A startup that's going to be presenting to you guys today is in the process of rolling out 6 pilots as a result of the accelerator program they went through. And one startup we're particularly proud of that was part of our previous batch actually is in the process of doing about 18 pilots, and they're in the process of doing a rollout across one of the biggest airlines in the US. So the end result, creating value for the partners, creating value for the startups, it's happening. I think if the corporate partners take advantage of the processes we put into place, and if we're doing our job right, there's no way that they cannot see the value. And I think the numbers speak for themselves. And then on the startup side, all these pilots that take place is the fastest way for these startups to be able to scale and get Fortune 500 companies to become their customers. And our ultimate goal, ultimately how Plug and Play makes returns on its time and resources, is to be able to invest in startups. And in the long run, we're hoping those startups would get acquired or they would have an initial public offering. So I wanted to recognize our corporate partners here today. Essentially, without these guys, the program would not exist. In particular, I wanted to welcome our newest partners, Pittsburgh Airport, Changi Airport, Gatwick Airport, Swissport, and last but not least, Accor Hotels. So it was actually really surprising to us that what we're doing at Plug and Play could be applicable to the airport industry. But what we realized within an airport infrastructure, our brand and retail practice could be very relevant for an airport. We realized our IoT practice, connected airports, smart airports, could be very relevant for airports. Security, which is one of our practices, is very relevant for airports. So we're actually becoming more focused on the airport environment because not only they fit our travel and hospitality practice, but they can also benefit from all of our activities across other industries. And Accor Hotels, they're a recent partner of ours, and just want to give them a shout out. In a relatively short amount of time, they've actually been extremely engaged with our startups by being here, spending time with them, and they're in the process of hopefully doing a number of pilots with the startups that we've introduced to them. So thanks to all of our partners. As far as focus areas, I apologize if this is repetitive for some of you, but these are the areas that we're focused on and our corporate partners have expressed interest in terms of the travel industry. Personalization, we think everybody talks about it. Not a whole lot of people do it right. And today we actually have a number of startups that are laser focused on personalizing the service that hotel chains or airlines provide their customers with. And we think they do it better than the rest of the folks out there. Seamlessness, again, we think the average traveler goes to too many websites and goes through too much trouble to make a booking. And a lot of it has to do with miscommunication on behalf of the suppliers or OTAs or meta-search sites. So our hope is someday that a traveler could go to a single website and have 99% certainty that they're getting the best deal possible, and they have personalization on top of that. So any technologies that could help that effort, we're extremely interested in. Ancillary revenues, I think a good example would be Accor Hotel CEO recently saying that they actually want to become a destination for locals as well as tourists. So what we're seeing is hotel chains stepping a little bit outside of their core business, which is lodging, or F&B, if you will. We're seeing airlines step outside of their security business, safety business, and transportation business, and looking for ways to enhance their customer experience and at the same time increase their bottom line and wallet share from those customers. Brand loyalty is self-explanatory. We think loyalty should not be a program that locks people in. When you talk to the majority of travelers, I think the majority of people say that they're not happy with the loyalty programs they're in. They kind of feel like they're prisoners. So we think brand loyalty should come with a different level of service people provide to their customers, not locking them into a loyalty program that they cannot get out of. Operational efficiency, self-explanatory, and disruptive ideas. Last but not least, as I mentioned, we have invested in 7 startups. Again, our goal was to invest in 20, but we're very, very proud of these investments. And they're a very diverse group of startups. Aro, for example, is a self-driving technology for controlled environments, such as resorts or college campuses. They actually have their carts at Santa Clara University, which has done over 3,000 trips already. Utrip, talking about personalization, these guys have an engine with machine learning and AI behind it that can personalize a travel journey for any traveler. Springshot, this is the company I told you about that's in the process of doing about 18 pilots with airlines, and they're actually rolling out their technology across a major US carrier. Beyond pricing, they're actually a dynamic pricing engine for vacation rentals, and they have over 100,000 vacation rentals using their solution today, and they can increase the revenues for those vacation rental managers and owners by about 25–30%. And so diverse group, I mean, obviously we think each of these startups has a potential to be a unicorn, and our role is to put them in front of potential customers, most of you sitting in this room, as often as possible and help them scale the business. And that is essentially my part in this presentation. I apologize if I sound like Mickey Mouse today. I have a flu, and try to stay away from me. I don't want to pass this on to anybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of the content. We have a fantastic keynote speaker for you guys. I'll let our MC introduce him, and I think you're going to pleasantly be surprised with the quality of the startups that are going to be presenting to you as part of our Batch 3. Thank you so much.